Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for another edition of WOWSA Live with our host, Ned Denison. Ned?
Hello, everyone. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. I have a special guest as usual today. His name is Damián Blaum from Argentina. He's a professional swimmer, and I'm going to start him way back when, and I'm going to ask him to tell me about his first professional marathon race.
Okay. Hi, guys. It's nice to talk to you today. And my first professional race was in 1999. In Italy, there was a race in Terracina, I think very close to Rome. It was the final leg of the world circuit that year. That I think it was probably the last time that Stéphane Lecat won the World Cup. And I think it was the first time that Petar Stoichev won a professional race, World Cup. And I was 7 that day. It was a 7 hours and 35 minutes race, 35K. And I have great memories about that day, because I think I was very innocent. I mean, I went there without knowing practically nothing, and I didn't know what to drink. I think I finished last hour or hour and a half drinking like sea water. So it was absolutely a crazy adventure, but I have great memories of that day.
So you got 7th, you knew you belonged. 4 years later, your first World Championship, 2003 in Barcelona. This is a different world now, World Championships. Tell us about your feelings going into that swim.
Well, at that edition of the World Championships, I was preparing for racing in the World Cups. I mean, I remember that my federation told me, okay, you are qualified to go to World Championships. If you want to swim there, you can go. We can pay you the ticket, but you need to find yourself, like where you are going to stay and how you are going to go to the races. And I found the Argentinian friends living in Barcelona, and I asked them if I could stay with them. And I went to race with any expectation, like I remember I took every day the subway, the metro, like to go to the beach. And I go like to spend the day in the beach, but I was knowing that I was going to race in the most important event, but no expectations, like just to make experience. But the first day I went to the beach, I raced the 5K, I finished 10. I think I was like 12 or 13 seconds behind the first. So I said, this is strange, like behind me, there were some very strong guys. I remember Simone Ercoli, and many others that on the papers were much faster than me. So I came back, I was very happy. And I say, okay, now we have the 10K tomorrow. And that now it's not very normal to swim 3 events in a World Championship. And I made it. And then the 10K, I finished 8th. And I was like 8 seconds behind the first one. And I was crazy, like celebrating. I was with a friend, and he was waiting for me with champagne at the house and said, this is incredible. Argentinian never ate in 10K. And I didn't understand nothing. My federation very happy, but I still traveling by subway, And then I raced the 25K, and my expectation went really higher, because after 8th position in the 10K, I thought that in the 25 I was going to make something very big. And I raced for, I think, 17.5 kilometers with the top 5. But I think the last 5K, it was very painful for me, and I lost like, I don't know. I think I finished 16, but I'm not sure, or 14. But I lost like 9-10 positions between the last 5 to 3K. I was looking all the people passing, and I couldn't do anything. But it was an amazing experience, an amazing city, because Barcelona from that day really inspired me, and I like that city. And it was my first World Championships. And then I raced, I don't know how many more, but a lot, like every year. And it was crazy. It was crazy to be 8 in 10K, amazing.
Then 5 years later, you're part of the very first Olympics in Beijing for marathon swimming. Special feeling about going to the Olympics?
Yeah, very special feeling. You know, I now I cannot I cannot remember exactly when in Hong Kong we were racing World Cup, the 10K World Cup, but it was part of the full circuit, because at that point it was just one circuit, and we have races of 10K and long races. And the delegates, the FINA delegates in that race, I think Steve could remember better, arrived in the hotel and gave us the very good news that open water was going to be part of the Olympic program. And that day I realized that I had to make a very serious change and to work very hard if I wanted to be part of the Olympics. And in 2000, between 2004, 5, 6, 7, I worked very hard. I mean, I still working very hard, but at that point I was fighting for one of the biggest dreams that an athlete could have, that is to be part of an Olympic Games. And I made today, like 12 years after, when I see what I made, I think I made everything correct until 4 months before Olympics. Then, well, I qualified 2 months before Olympics. I think it was 1st of June of 2008 in the trials that were in the same venue. And I finished 7 in the trial. Water temperature was 20 degrees. I qualified. And after that, really, I swam 6 marathon races after that race in China. I swam in Canada, 2 races, in Serbia and Macedonia, Capri, Napoli. I swam everywhere. And after racing everywhere, I went in Beijing again for Olympics, and I arrived 2 weeks before my race, and the experience, it was crazy, amazing. I mean, you never could realize the magnitude, how big is an Olympic game until you are there, because before the athletes tell you it's crazy, you sit at the table and you see Rafael Nadal or Federer or whoever. But when you are there and you see all those people, the NBA stars, and you live side by side with these people, like a very normal situation, you cannot realize what is an Olympic game. And I was absolutely tired after doing all the marathons, and I could not recover myself properly to make a good 10K. And a few days ago, I think during this quarantine, I was on the bicycle riding at home, and I just went on YouTube and I saw the video of the 10K. I watched the victory of Martin, and I tried to find myself in the pack until I think 8.2 or 8.3 kilometers, but then it was very, very hard and very hot for me.
Tell us about the changes you've made in your training and your mindset in the last 10, 15 years. What has changed in your approach to the sport?
First, I was very lucky because I could say that I had the opportunity to learn from probably the best athletes on this sport. You know, when I was very kid, I had the chance to see Stéphane Lecat, that for me, he was the strongest athlete in this sport I had ever seen. I mean, I saw this guy making something amazing in Santa Fe Coronda. I was there watching that race, and I saw how the swimmers went to him the backpack went to him like one by one, and he was like killing each other. So it was a proof that for this sport you need a very good, of course, swimming preparation and physical preparation, but he made a proof that there is something extra, something more that you need, and it's the mental preparation. So I was very lucky to be that day in that race. I think it was in Santa Fe when I was 15 years old, in Santa Fe, 1996. And then to live at the same time on this sport with Petar Stoichev, that probably was the best ever in marathon swimming. So to live with those two stars made me realize how seriously I should prepare to not to be a star, just to do my way and just to make a serious career as an athlete. And I think in 2005, actually it was after that World Championships and after being sixth in Dubai 2004 in World Championships in 10K, that I realized that I wanted to make from open water swimming my profession. And when I realized that, I started dedicating much more time to my preparation, not only in the water, just like how we say the invisible training, like to try to rest more, to eat better, to make all the things, that all the details a little bit better. Sometimes I could make it, sometimes I could not, but I think I was year by year improving things, and I made something that it was smart, and it was to look what many others good swimmers were doing, not to copy all, but to try to see what I could make to be a little bit better. And I had to start from the base that I was not Lekat or Stoichev, because I am not talented like them. I was swimming 15:55 in the pool in long course. That until one point it was good for 10K, but right now, like after Olympic Games in 2008, that time is very slow for fighting for something. So I realized that my way, it was going to be like the marathon, the real marathon. And I had to focus on a different way of training and competition.
That's okay. You want to introduce us? Hello.
Gala is here. Look.
Hola.
¿Te pusiste? Ah, estás muy linda. Cerrame la puerta, ¿sí?
So you have.
Ciao.
Damián, you have a couple of interesting things which I look to and smile. If I look at the Grand Prix, you were the runner-up in 2007, 2009, 2010, 2012, and then you were the champion in 2013. And in your own home, Santa Fe, Coronda, you swam 14 times before you won that event in 2017. Tell us what it feels like to finally be the champion of something like that.
Well, the best is not that I had been the champion in 2013 in like the final overall World Cup or the winner of the Santa Fe Coronda. The best feeling is that I could fight all those years, like since the first time I went in that river in Santa Fe, or since the first time I had really had chances to start fighting in the circuit, like in 2007 that I was runner-up of Petar. I think the good thing is that I had been there fighting and learning and fighting year by year. Some years I was stronger, some years I had more difficulties, but when I look back, my career was long and I had been there for many years. And I think that it's a good message that I had been doing the things properly. And I like to see this, to see this. But of course, when finally in 2013 I could win the Grand Prix, and of course it was because Petar was not there, but it was amazing. It was amazing feeling because it was a dream that I was trying to get from the very beginning of my career. Like I could go when I was 13 or 14 years old, and I could remember an ex-coach telling me in the pool, in the side of the pool, that maybe if I train hard and if I make this sport a profession, and I work seriously, I could be winner of Capri Napoli one day, or Santa Fe, or maybe why not to go to Olympics, or maybe to be world champion. And then when I think that I could make a great part of this message that he made to me, that he told me, I think it's amazing. It's amazing because all the steps that I was, or all the goals that I was putting to myself, I could make most of them.
And how important were those wins compared to, say, your 2 wins in Capri? Or is every win just so special?
Of course, every win is nice, but and Santa Fe, it was nice because it was at home. I mean, it's not my home city, but it's in Argentina. And as Stefan told you in his interview, to race there is something crazy special, because there is 100,000 people around the river, and you know, all Argentinian people was expecting my victory more than probably I was expecting that victory. Before the race, like when I meet people on the street, and everybody tell me, on Sunday is your day, on Sunday is your day, on Sunday is your day. It's hard to manage that, you know, like I spoke with Petar many times before that victory, like when Petar was beating me and I was second behind him, saying it's very difficult to manage this. And he told me one time, he told me something like, I really wish you can win this Sunday, even I am there, because you deserve that, and because people is crazy. And Santa Fe was very special because I fight many times, and I was very close many times, 7 podiums, I think, before, or 6. And many times 1 second behind Petar. So it's hard. But that's why I think it was very special. But Capri is probably the dream of most of the open water or the marathon, the real marathon swimmers. Capri is, first, it's a paradise, but second, it was for many years, and I think it's still being the capital of the world capital of the marathon swimming. For me, Capri, it means everything in the marathon swimming. And every year, when I check the schedule of the races, I know I mark Capri, like I will be there and I will be in good shape to fight. And when I won in 2010, I remember I was in very good shape, and I prepared that race. I beat Brendan Capel from Australia, that came from being second in world champion in 2004, second in Montreal 2005. So he was very, very strong, and I knew that I had to be very smart and make a good race to beat him. And I think I made it. I beat with a big distance. Like I cannot remember now, but I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes in a 6 hours and 58-minute race. And the water was cold because that race was in June. I think it was like 20th of June, and the ocean at that time, it's always a little bit colder. And the second time, it was in 2015, and it was special because the week before I was disqualified in Ohrid. I made the same race that I made in Capri, I wait, and I go just at the finish. I don't know how I managed to have a lot of power to make a good sprint, that it's not probably my best quality, but I made a good sprint, and I went into the finish, but I went in a wrong direction. Sun was coming like just in front of me, and the finish in Capri actually is not a very good finish, and many years we had problems with that finish, and I went out of the lane, but actually I think the disqualification was okay, but I swam more because I passed the lane, and then what I made, it was just not to came back and went into the lane. I just went under the rope and go, but I swam more than everybody. But the referees did not see that, and they disqualified me. I think it was okay. And the week after, I was very crazy. I was, this
You
is
were
not possible.
mad.
Yeah, I was mad. And I made exactly the same strategy. I just I traveled for 7 hours in the pack. I cannot remember. No, it was fast race. It was like 6:16. I think it was very close to the record of the race, or 6:20. But I traveled for the whole day in the pack. I didn't make much effort. And at the end, when I saw the finish, like 1K before, I saw some orange stuff. I said to myself, okay, it's now. It's at this point that I need to change my pace. And I swam very, very fast. When I speak about this, I really get on that situation. And I see many times the video, because I have this video of the finish. And I don't know, but it was a dream to win 5 years after my first victory. And it was a dream to win on that way with two great swimmers just very close to me, because it was not by 5 minutes. I won. Second was Evgeny Popasev, and he was 1 second or 2 behind me. And Simone Ercoli was third, 3 seconds behind me. So it was a very tough finish after a long day. And to coronate in Naples, it's always special. I feel really like at my home.
You, one of the big swims you had was the 42 kilometers across the river. This is different than racing because it's just you. How did you approach it? Was it a different mindset, or you were racing across this river?
Well, I don't know if you know that I made a river and a half, because the real story is that 2 days before making that crossing, that 42K, I swam 21K. There were some problems with the authorities, because I am crossing from one country to other country and not by the normal transportation. And when I was just on the border after 21K, there is a buoy that delimited Argentina and Uruguay, and the police of the river says that they don't have any authorization for me to swim in Argentina, to get in swimming in Argentina, and that they were not going to give any support for us. So big ships coming all the time there were not informed that there is one guy swimming in the middle of the river. So we didn't have any choice, and I had to go out, came back home. Esther very, very angry, like saying, this is not possible. I told you, you had to be sure before doing this. How is possible that you made this decision? And I said, listen, I made it, and you know, but But after I spoke with Esther, I talked to the guy, to the boat driver, and said, can you check the weather for next days? And he said, yes, of course. Okay, in 2 days, you have another day that it's not that good like today, but you can try. Okay, we go. So I arrived home. I remember I swam the day after the river, morning and afternoon, very long. I was very tired after 21K, 4 hours. And the day after, I took the ferry, the boat again, and go to Uruguay. And it was like deja vu, you know, like living again the same. And then 42K, it was not hard. It was, you know, I am used from all my swimming career to make those long swims. So it was not that difficult. The difficulty maybe is that I was alone. And before, I made many long swims, but always racing and looking and speaking, because we speak in the pack with people. And that day I was alone. I wanted to break a very old record of 10 hours and 35 minutes or 34 minutes. But at that point, I arrived after what happened 2 days before, that I did not care of the record. I said, I want to cross this, because if not, the people will say that, you know, I cannot cross. So I just cross, and then we will see. And the day was different. You know, it was choppy. I started very early morning. I saw the sun coming up, and it was a magnificent adventure, you know, different than all what I made before. As I told you, I was more focused on what's going on with the day, with the current, with the temperature of the water, with the sun, with the boats coming, like the big boats transporting people. But I was not thinking much about the race or about nothing. I played games with the board, with my boat, and spent the day in the river swimming. But I was not thinking about the record. And then when I arrived to the middle, I know I was like 20 minutes slower than the 2 days before. But I knew that I had big chances of making the record. And after that, yes, I swam the fastest I could to make a good time, and it was 9 hours and 6 minutes, so it was quite good.
One of the things you've collected along your marathon swimming career is a beautiful wife and family. Your wife was also a professional swimmer. You have to tell us. You know, you went to some race or something, and you spotted her. Tell us how you two met.
First time we met, but we didn't talk each other, and we didn't actually knew each other. It was probably in words in 2003, because she was part of her national team. I was there, but as I always tell her, probably you were not looking guys traveling in subway in Barcelona, you know.
Did she have a car in a limousine?
Probably, and and probably a driver too, you know.
Oh yeah.
And yes, it was my wife and my family is the best I got with this sport, definitely.
So then when did you meet her after that? Come on, tell us.
In 2004, she came for the first time in Argentina, and we didn't speak much as well. But in 2005, we started speaking, and she was going in more races, because 2004, I think she made only 2 races, Santa Fe and Magog in Canada. But right after, she went into the circuit, and we were good friends, and we speak every race, and had good time, but as friends. But in 2006, I changed my eyes, you know, like I said, and I had to row a lot, eh? And in end of 2006, she had a lot of problems with her but with the coach that was in her club at that moment. And I told her, why you don't come with me? I will go to train on altitude before racing in Santa Fe and Paraná. So you can come with me, with my coach, and we go in the north of Argentina. It's a very beautiful but poor place with very limited conditions, but where you can make a very good preparation. And especially it's very hard I always say, when you go in Capri for training, then you are ready for the war. You know, if you survive, you are ready. And she came. I don't know. Don't ask me how and why. She said, yes, I go. But she came in Capri for training. And
you didn't think maybe you could have invited her for dinner before that?
no, actually, when she arrived in
Mountains.
Buenos
We
Aires,
go to the mountains.
yeah, it's a, you know, it's a glamour. What can I say?
Damián, thank you very much for your time today. I
It's my
understand
pleasure.
you are still training, you're still competing, and we look for your name on the results in the next few years as well. Thank you
It
very
will be great.
much.
Thanks to you.
Bye.